Hello, my name's Alex Lynn, and hello, my name's Alex Lynn, and I'll be going over the CSS Flexboxes. So let's begin. So a Flexbox is everything that is laid out on a website. This is like kind of like a formatting. A Flexbox is a container that can hold quote unquote children, which is like your content, your text, and it can be used to organize your website more efficiently and more effectively, as many websites do. A Flexbox is like a sort of layout, and there are kind of like templates or functions that are pre-written to help you. There are many different ways a Flexbox can be, as shown on the left. Both are Flexboxes, but they are displayed differently. So the first one you will see four articles in backwards order, and then it's kind of like all evenly spaced out and it's all really pretty. But compared to like the bottom one, it's like a lot of articles and it's all like squished together and kind of hard to read. So there can be more than one item in the same row all this time. So basically, all this time you're using block elements, and like you can't really set those besides individually. But now we can use flex boxes to put a lot more elements on the same row instead of needing one box on every single row. So in order to first like start off with a flex box, you want to do div dot flex content bracket display and then colon flex. So this basically tells the computer that you're coding something and it requires a Flexbox for you to code it. So direction of Flexboxes. So this is the kind of like first. So just like most containers in CSS, you're able to orient a Flexbox horizontally or vertically. So you have to remember that a Flexbox is still a box in nature. So you still have all the controls of a normal box, but you also have the flexibility and availability of Flexbox functions. You can organize items in your Flexbox in the opposite direction too. So basically, instead of just running it forward, you can run it reverse, and it will automatically change all of the items regardless of which one it is. And then the well-designed websites, a lot of them use a blend of all of these flex boxes in order to make it a lot like really visually pleasing. So with everything spaced out and everything perfect with a mixture of rows and columns. So in order to do a row, you would do dot flex dash container, and then you would name it a flex container, which is display colon flex, and then you would go flex dash direction colon horizontal, and remember to end with that semicolon. And then next you have the flex container for a vertical or a column. And then as you can see, column reverse, it would put item one at the very bottom and item three at the very top. Alignment. So one of the functions that we are given is the alignment option. So since a flex container is a normal box, you can also set its height. As you can see it say, flex boxes have the innate property to follow alignment along both the cross axis and the main axis. Aligning items to the center aligns them to the middle of the container, compared to aligning them with flex start or flex end, which is the top or bottom of the container. So as you can see, we set the height for this one, and then centering it would put everything in the center as it shows here. Flex end puts everything at the bottom, and the flex start puts everything at the top. So those are three kind of codes. You have to remember it's not just top, it's flex end and flex start. So talking about flex end and flex start, these are the kind of like four main ones we want to talk about. So we have a flex start, which lines everything to the top. We have a flex end that lines everything up with the bottom. We have center, which lines it along the center, and then we have stretch, which stretches out each text box or character to fit the entire box. As you can see with stretch, it's like the entire box is full and there's no space left. So similarly, we have baseline, but baseline is really unique because it allows you to keep the shape of your current box inside of your flex box, but it also aligns it up with content. So
it can allow you it can allow you, as it reads, baseline aligns text items rather than the center of the object. You can also, and then you have stretch, where you can stretch it to swell align the whole thing. And then, but baseline basically compares the text values and not the actual boxes and the centers of the boxes itself. Now, wrapping items. This is kind of something that you guys see in like maybe a Google Docs or something. It's pretty commonly used, but wrapping items is in order so you can like not have everything crammed on one thing and it's like cut off. So you would just do flex dash wrap colon wrap. So this would allow the items to wrap around and go to the next line instead of just continuing into oblivion where you can't even check it anymore or you're gonna have to scroll. And then flex wrap is basically really easy to use, and it's also easily reversible with wrap reverse, where it puts the last one in the front and then so on, and then fills it in from the bottom up. So there's actually a lot of different ways, and if you remember, default is no wrap. So if you don't want to wrap it at all, you don't actually need to write out the program for that; it will write it itself. So you can wrap items in the list in order to make it look more organized. A lot of like big companies and websites use this so their thing can look really clean and not really cluttered. And then another use of Flexbox is like if you're transferring between devices, a website on a computer looks different than a website on the phone because of the different Flexboxes that is used. Like if you see a promotion with four in a row on a computer, it might be one by one by one by one in a column on a phone. So it's different for everything. So this is the way Flexboxes can be used. Next, we have ordering and sizing. So you can like kind of size your entire text boxes where reordering and resizing the items in your text boxes makes everything look better. So using the order properly provides a powerful way to control the visual presentation of the flex items without altering the HTML structure. So that's a really good thing about flex boxes. It kind of allows you to change everything about your looks without actually changing any of the function, not risking like having to go through any issues. So it is really useful in responsive design when you want to like reorder elements based on different screen sizes. As I said about the computer phone issue, like if you detect a smaller screen, then you can change your shapes and box sizes to fit that shape. So as you can see, we have flex wrap grow, which is just another thing we can add on. So the reason why flex boxes are unique are because of their ability to adjust their own size. So if something was a phone, which let's say had 200 pixels compared to a computer, which has 1,000, it will still make it so the website will have a unique and like responsive look instead of having like a broken website for two of the for the online version and the phone version, which would make it look really weird because a computer obviously has way more space than a phone. So this means you what you see on your desktop is way different than what you see on a phone because there are different screen sizes. Flex helps move the content to make sure that it doesn't overflow off the screen. So like you won't have to scroll and it kind of like organizes it itself, you know? And that is all for flex boxes for now. There are, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask the Google Classroom. And then one more thing I want to like kind of introduce you guys to is this game called Flexbox Froggy. So, so this Flexbox Froggy is kind of something you can like practice with. And then since we're going to be using a lot of CSS like this in the future, it's really useful. So basically, Flexbox Froggy is just using a justified content property, which is one of the functions that we allow, which is right. It's one of the ones we covered. Oh, accidents. And then, but Flexbox Froggy like allows you to change like where the content is. It is so basically right here we have our align items. So it doesn't really we don't really actually cover we don't cover the justified content, but align items controls more of the y-axis of things, while justified content controls it on the x-axis. So it's basically like the same vibe. And then, but if you go on this website, it kind of tells you what to do. You have flex start, which is a left side, flex end, which is right side, center, and then you can mess around to find out space in between and space around. So for this one, it tells us what to do. So justify content flex end. Make sure you have your semicolon, and then see the frog goes to the end, so you can click next. So there's a bunch of these games you can play, and then there's 24 levels, and this really helps with like your basic understanding of it. So I would definitely go on this website some and just learn about how it works, and then a lot more on aligning and all that stuff, because it's going to help you a lot with like the formatting and functionality and looks of your website. But that is all for today's lesson. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the Google Classroom, or also feel free to ask at the next meeting. But for now, thank you for listening.